One of the core mechanics in Elden Ring is being able to dodge roll. What this does is it allows you to get some invincibility frames, also known as iframes, to avoid attacks. But what if you could beat the entire game without rolling? That means no dodging any attacks, tanking everything, only using things like shields. Is it possible? Let's find out. Like every run, we start at the chapel, throw ourselves off the cliff, open the door to Limgrave, go grab our trusty steed from Melina, get the whetstone knife, grab the physic, go to Fort Height, joust this guy at the top and backstab him. For the bloody slash of war, of course, and we grab his great shield. Now we take the portal, convince the Knight's Cavalry to throw himself off the bridge, get the other half of the Dectus Medallion, and Radagon's Sword Seal, kill Grail with our Bleed Rapier, level up enough to use the Great Shield, kill Bernal for his armor, and his bell bearing. And now let's test out our build against the Tree Sentinel in Weeping Peninsula. Luckily, the guard boost on the shield is pretty good for the early game enemies, and doing guard counters is able to get some staggers off. Erdtree Avatar goes down pretty easily. Next, we fight the Knight's Cavalry in Weeping Peninsula because he drops the Barricade Shield Ash of War. This Ash of War increases our guard boost, which means it costs less stamina to guard enemy attacks. We knock him off of his horse, he does resummon it, but he goes down on the first try. Now I'll take the time to mention that mostly the only rolls I accept in the run are rolls to get up, because they allow you to reposition a little closer, but they don't give you nearly as many iframes. I was feeling pretty confident without having to upgrade my weapon much, so we went in to fight Margit right away. Luckily, he doesn't have that much stance, and a couple guard counters break his stance. And we get a couple bleed procs with the Bleed Rapier. The only attacks that he uses that really do any damage to us are the ones he uses when he summons his Holy Daggers, his Hammer, and his Sword. After a couple close calls, he goes down on the first try. We take the long way through Stormvale because without being able to dodge, I was not trying to run past all the crossbows. And now it's on to fight Godric. His first phase, really easy. He only does physical damage, and most, if not all of his attacks can be completely blocked. You don't even have to jump to dodge the slam attack. Luckily, his stance can be broken pretty easily, and he's not very resistant to bleed, so without an upgraded weapon and just some bleed, this fight is pretty easy. The only problem that I did not think about when starting this run is bosses that have grab attacks, because if I can't position myself to not get hit by them, you can't block it. So he grabbed me probably half a dozen times in this fight, and if not for this attack, this fight would have gone so much easier. I still beat it on the first try, but it probably took me like 8 minutes of walking around and waiting for him to not use this attack. Now, going into Liurnia, we grab the glintstone key, go through the gate, right out the other side, and up the grand lift to Dectus. We grab the smithing stone bell bearing 2, and we go into the Liurnia crystal tunnel so we can kill the Crystallian, poise break him, and grab the smithing stone bell bearing 1. Now, I figured it would be time to try out Radahn, because I wasn't sure how Renala was going to go with her magic attacks and the shield not completely negating them. We use the horse to get up to him, and then we kind of just stand between his legs and hope for the best. For the most part, this fight goes pretty well. He's not very resistant to bleed, and a lot of his attacks can just be negated by standing either right behind him or right between his legs. The only problems really came in Phase 2 when he used his gravity attacks, which led to some unfortunate deaths. I don't know how that one even hit, to be honest. So I figured I'd come back later when I'm stronger. Screw it, we're going to Raya Lucaria, up the lift, and on to fight the Red Wolf. The hardest part about this fight is the wolf doesn't sit still long enough for you to get good guard counters in. And its attacks do a pretty good amount of stamina, even with the barricade shield active. Luckily, I did get a couple bleed procs off. And only after a couple guard counters, the wolf goes down. We run right past Moongrim and up the lift, and we break his stance and try to shove him off the side. Sorry, buddy. Now on to the Foot Fetishist Library. We're almost able to kill Renala in one phase, but unfortunately we don't get enough bleed procs to do that. She definitely goes down in the second phase though, and now it's time for the real fight. If you didn't know, you can avoid the opening attack by just running straight forward at her, and it just won't hit you. Then we just kind of run forward at her and keep poking until she bleeds. Unfortunately, the giant does get a good hit off on us, but we kind of just run away from any of her summons until we can get a good opening to hit her. With the bleed rapier, she goes down on the first try. We grab our talisman pouch. And to fight the Draconic Tree Sentinel, we try employing the same strategies as the previous fights. But this fight caused some complications. His first phase, pretty easy. He just does physical damage, and nothing he does can really one-shot me. Phase 2, on the other hand, with the lightning attacks, go right through my shield and consistently one-shot me. and this led to a couple of frustrating deaths. Even when I tried to cheat, I still died. So I went to Altus to go grab the Scarlet Rot Rapier from the NPC. And hopefully this would give me the damage boost that I needed to get through this fight quickly. The only attack that I cheated for was this lightning attack because if he started it up, it was certain death. So, sorry guys, if you want to be angry at me, go ahead. He went down after like 20 tries, but finally we have access to Lane Dell, which for some reason my PC was not having a fun time. We go up the dragon. We go up the branch. And on to fight Godfrey, who is actually super easy with this kind of setup because he only does physical damage. So we just sit there and tank the hits with Barricade Shield, and there's not really much he can do to stop us. Doing a lot of guard counters does break the poise of people pretty quickly, so if you're ever doing a build like this, go for as many as possible. And sorry for the lag in this fight, I have no idea why my PC was bugging out, but Godfrey goes down on the first try. Onto the Royal Remnant so that we could get past it and get the Frozen Needle, which is a rapier that has frostbite built into it, so I don't have to allocate any new stats to wield this. Now we go down the Schiefer Well and back up the other side so we can run up to the giant jar and fight his 3 NPC friends, which we kind of bully with this build. They can't really do much of anything. And we get the Great Jar's Arsenal Talisman. Now that we got the ability to wear some heavier armor, we go to try Radahn out again. His first phase goes pretty similarly to the first time we fought him. No real issues. His second phase had some issues, but not enough to kill us. He's got the meteor attacks, which do magic damage, so there's some unavoidable damage in the attack when doing a build like this. But we can bend the rules a little bit and jump over his big slam attack. This attack was almost certain death, but with the Barricade Shield, you can just tank right through it. And he goes down on the first try after acquiring those new items. Now we go on to fight Morgott, who for the most part goes pretty much the same as Margit. He just has more holy attacks that will go through our defenses a little bit, but nothing that we can't handle. I do trade a couple guard counters with him to get the riposte, but if you count them, you can get them at the same time every single time. And he goes down on the first try. Next, I wanted to go down into the sewers, through the pipe, and down to Sewer Moog, because if we get past him, we have access to the Fingerprint Shield, which is the best shield in the whole game. Has the highest guard boost, perfect for this kind of build. This Moog fight actually took forever because he kept showering, and I can't stand there because I am allergic to the shower. So I kind of just had to back up and wait for him to use the attacks that I could do guard counters on him with. After a fight that took probably 7 minutes and depleted all of my healing resource, he finally goes down. We do a little bit of parkour that I definitely got on the first try. And we grab the Fingerprint Shield. We go back to Renala to respec a little bit so we have the strength to wield the shield. And then we go up the Grand Lifter Road, grab the next Smithing Stone Bell Bearing, go over the Great Bridge, through the fog. We fight Okina, who gets absolutely bullied by this build. We progress Vari's questline a little bit so that we can get the Great Stars weapon. And then we go get the Prayerful Strike Ash of War, which heals us for 30% when we use it. Now on to Fire Giant, who had some complications. He has a lot of attacks that shields don't do anything about. Anything that comes from over your head that slams down is pretty much certain death. So after banging my head against the wall for probably 2 hours trying to figure this fight out, I had to cave. I'm sorry, everybody. But I just fought him normally. I used the Great Stars, so if you want to leave the video now, leave a dislike, that'd be awesome. Make sure to leave a comment too. Tell me how angry you are. But now we go to the sewers again, we get a hug from the Three Fingers, and we set the Erd Tree on fire. We fight off the gangs from Farum Azula. And onto the Foreskin Duo. These guys were actually a lot easier than I thought they were going to be. You just sleep one of them, and then you just 1v1 one of them like it's a normal fight. Didn't even have to cheat or anything in this one. Most of their attacks are physical. Every once in a while they have an attack that will go over the shield, but I was always able to find openings to heal, so it wasn't a problem. Just 1v1 Skinny, normally. When he's dead, we wake up Fatty with 2 charged heavies, and we get the riposte. We fight him pretty much normally until he resummons Skinny. When he resummons, we throw another Sleep Pot, which actually took him out of his roll attack. And then we rinse and repeat. Fight Skinny until he's dead, wake up Fatty, fight him. When he resummons Skinny, we just greed for the bleed proc and we take him out. Next is Malekith, which also had some complications. For the most part, it was pretty easy. His first attack, all do physical damage. Even the beast incantation ones, it's all physical damage. You only take a little bit if something goes over you. But for the most part, just fight him like every other boss. We stand forward, we poke him, But the second phase had a lot of problems. If he even touches you with his sword, you start getting the health drain. Doesn't matter if you block it or not. So, unfortunately, after banging my head against the wall for like 2 hours, I decided I was going to fight the first phase with the build we've been doing, and in the second phase, I would switch to a normal build with the great stars, and I'd fight him like any other Malekith fight. So now this is 2 bosses that I've completely cheated with, and you should leave as much hate as possible in the comments. Gideon, even though he claimed me the first time, I went back in, and if you just two-hand a rapier, you don't even need the shield, and you don't have to beat him without dodging. You just run around, most of the stuff will miss you, and then once you're in close enough, you just poke him once, wait for him to roll away, and then poke him again. Stun locks him out of every single attack he does. I even got lucky with a backstab. But for the most part, easy fight, easy NPC. Gideon, I don't know how you were my demise on my first playthrough, but I've come a long way since then. With Gideon down, we go to fight Godfrey for real this time, and this part goes pretty much exactly like the normal Godfrey fight. Just guard counter, all of his attacks are physical, no bleed, no nothing to get through me. So, I just take my attack openings when I get them, do my guard counters, and he gets to phase 2 pretty easy. Phase 2 though is a big problem, because half of his attacks are all grabs. And as we saw in the Godric fight at the beginning of the game, can't block the grabs. Even here, I cheated, didn't dodge it, he gets me. So, unfortunately, after him grabbing me 20 times, I could not see a way around it. I just had to fight him the normal way. I went through phase 1 using the guard counters with the big shield, but phase 2, I just took him out normally. Radagon was an interesting fight too, because for the most part, you could block everything. I say for the most part because when he starts throwing his holy stuff, he just keeps knocking you back and you can't get it. He also has a grab attack, which is no fun to deal with. But I tried to do as much as I could with the shield before I started employing other strategies. Once he starts throwing the holy attacks, it's pretty much impossible to do anything. My next thought was try to parry him. But Radagon does not like to be parried, because once you do, he goes for the grab attack immediately. So, unfortunately, the parry strat was probably not going to be an option. So, once again, I am sorry to everybody. I had to just fight him straight up to get to the end of the game. And the same thing with Elden Beast. He has too many attacks that are just not doable with the shield. As you can see, even when I did fight him straight up, I'm still dog shit at the game and I get hit by the 3-ring attack. After he goes down, that's the end of the game, that's the end of the run. I only had to cheat on like 3 bosses, so if you liked the video, make sure to leave a comment, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.